new PlayStation 2023 rumors including new state of plays, a new Sony Sci-Fi RPG game has leaked, Naughty Dog not announcing projects early, are PS5s getting killed for being placed vertically? All that and more in today's PlayStation news, let's get into them. PlayStation 2023 rumors including new state of plays. Let's start with some rumors on the whole of 2023 for PlayStation including state of play events. This comes from a 4chan thread, so take it with a grain of salt. According to the thread, PlayStation PC releases for this year will be The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Demon's Souls, and Horizon Forbidden West. We only have 2 PC games announced right now, The Last of Us Part 1 for March 3rd, and Returnal at an unspecified date. None of these are listed, but the ones mentioned are safe bets. You would think The Last of Us Part 2 gets a PC release if the new PS5 remaster is true. Ghost of Tsushima is likely to get a PC port even more if the sequel launches in 2024. Demon's Souls as Miles Morales is a PS5 launch game, so a PC port could happen soon. The one I'm not so sure is Horizon Forbidden West. The thread then points out 2 Naughty Dog reveals, saying they will have The Last of Us Part 2 for PS5, a new Uncharted game, both a sequel and soft reboot to Uncharted 4 from Sony Malaysia and Visual Arts. The Last of Us Factions would have a summer or fall 2023 release, and they would announce a new open-world fantasy-based IP. Last of Us 2 for PS5 has been making the rounds for a while, the same as Naughty Dog working with Visual Arts on a beloved Sony game that may be Uncharted. We know from studio president Neil Druckmann himself that we'll have details on Factions, but a 2023 release sounds unlikely unless it's a fall or winter beta. Naughty Dog is also rumored to be working on a fantasy-based IP, as per images found in The Last of Us Part 1, but we may not get a reveal this year, and we'll touch on that in a moment. The 4chan thread also points out IPs getting revived, pointing to a Killzone VR after Call of the Mountain, Motorstorm, Ape Escape, and PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. There were rumors of all of these games throughout last year, but nothing has been made concrete so far. In terms of new projects from PlayStation Studios, it indicates Sucker Punch is working on a new IP, Ben, Pixel Opus, and Asobi projects will get revealed, Media Molecule is working on an expanded Dreams with PSVR 2 support. There will be several reveals for games as a service titles including Firewall, Deviation, Guerrilla, Naughty Dog, and Arrowhead. There's no indication of a new IP from Sucker Punch, as the rumors from studio hirings are they are working on a Ghost of Tsushima 2. Ben, Pixel Opus, and Asobi are due to announce projects soon. The expanded Dreams for PSVR 2 wouldn't sound far-fetched, and we'll for sure know on Sony's games as a service titles this year, but not sure it will be all of them. Lastly, the thread points to a new PS2 and PS3 emulator being worked on, plus new state of play events for February, March, and May, and a showcase in June. The days for state of plays don't sound out of the ordinary. Last year we had events in the same months, and this year you would figure out they would do an event before games they have marketing deals for. February for Resident Evil 4, or Capcom could do their own Resident Evil showcase. There have also been rumors of an exclusive Resident Evil 4 demo, then a March event before Hogwarts Legacy, and one in May before Final Fantasy XVI. I'm not so sure about a showcase in June given their Summer Game Fest, but last year we got a state of play that felt almost like a showcase. And as for new PS2 and PS3 emulators, these are a long shot. Again, this thread felt like they compiled a bunch of rumors that have been going around for a while, so who knows if they will turn out true. Do you believe in any of these rumors? Voice your opinion in the comments below. A new Sony Sci-Fi RPG game has leaked. Sony first-party studios have many games in development, including a new one that has leaked from XDev in partnership with another European developer, rumored to be People Can Fly. I'm not gonna show it here because Sony may try to take it down, so instead we're going to go through the details of what was shown, and you can find the source in the description. It's a 6-second clip of a soldier holding a rifle and moving on a walkway as he looks at a huge alien thing made of goo that is climbing a tower. The game looks from the PS3 era, but it's made using Unreal Engine 5 and from a very early build according to leaker Dos Golem. He didn't leak it but knows about it and describes it as an ooze game. It was believed to be part of a PlayStation document that leaked a few months ago talking about Project Carbon, but Dos Golem says it's not tied to that. Dos Golem further commented on both Resetera and Reddit threads about the leak, saying that while he can't say if it will come out, he has seen more of this game and it's at a point where it's fully voice acted, music has been composed for it, and has more to it than what was leaked. He attributes the name Ooze to the project, and it's not what the project is called, but it will make more sense whenever they show more of it, It's a very ooey gooey game, more than the clip suggests, likely to be related to the enemies. The project has been leaked to People Can Fly, given the clip shows a project named Red in the corner, and People Can Fly is a second-party European studio that works with Unreal Engine and has a project named Red in concept stages. Sony XDev is mostly a studio partner that helps other developers to publish games on PlayStation, having worked with Sumo Digital, Lucid Games, and Supermassive Games, for example. Do you think we'll learn more about this project later this year? Sound off in the comments. Naughty Dog not announcing projects early. We haven't learned too much about what Naughty Dog is working on this generation. We learned about The Last of Us Part 1 with leaks early last year, and we have only had 2 concept art images for factions. Neil Druckmann spoke to Comic Book promoting The Last of Us HBO, where he explained why the studio is taking its time. You are right, we did announce Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Part 2 way in advance, but that actually caused a little bit of the work-life balance issues that we have sometimes had at the studio. By delaying the announcement a bit, we could play with the schedule more, and we are more conscious now about how we are approaching production. So there's our multiplayer project, and there's another project that I will not say anything about that's beyond that we're also very much excited for. It makes sense for them to try to announce things closer to release after the studio has been hit with leaks and accused of crunch in the past with The Last of Us Part 2. Games are often delayed and some fans don't take delays kindly, so it's best for any delays to happen internally before a game is announced. Sony is also following that approach for their other first-party games and has announced their release dates for many just a few months before they hit, following a reveal that happens 12 to 18 months before release. What do you think about this approach to announcing new games? Let us know in the comments. PS5 ends up second in 2022 total UK sales. Sony has made improvements to PS5 supply since late last year. The company announced at CES the system has sold 30 million units globally, but it seems that didn't help them get the crown in the UK. GfK sales data for the region in the past 12 months, posted by GameIndustry.biz, point the PS5 was under 60,000 units short of claiming the top from the Nintendo Switch in what was a year that saw 2 million consoles sold, 29% less than in 2021 due to a decline in Switch sales and the PS5 shortage. As for games, 34.2 million were sold, down 6% from 2021, with FIFA 23 taking the top spot, followed by Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Elden Ring, and Grand Theft Auto 5. God of War Ragnarok placed number 6 despite launching in November, Horizon Forbidden West made the top 10 at number 8, and Gran Turismo 7, while not at the top 10, was close behind at 13. What do you think of these results from PlayStation in the UK? If you are in the region, have you gotten yourself a PS5? Have you seen stock improvements in your local stores? Share with us down in the comments. Are PS5s getting killed for being placed vertically? Next is a claim that a design flaw from Sony may be killing PS5s, according to several users online during the past week. These users seem to be running repair shops and have posted photos warning users against placing their PS5s vertically, since the liquid metal used to cool the CPU is then moved and can damage other components, causing the console to overheat. Other users have pointed out that for this to occur means something bad should have happened to the seal protecting the liquid metal, and the chances for that are slim. Sony officially supports the system working in either orientation with the included stand, and the issue is not as widespread yet to cause any concern. But if you want to have peace of mind, you can place it horizontally. I personally have mine vertically and haven't seen any issues, and that's a launch console. PS5s are also stocked in stores vertically, so if this was a real issue, we should have heard more reports at this point. Do you use your PS5 horizontally or vertically? Let us know in the comments. Metacritic recaps best and worst games of 2022. Metacritic has shared a report for the best and worst games of last year. The best games list is split per platform, and the top 10 on PS5 includes Elden Ring at number 1, followed by The Witcher 3 and God of War Ragnarok, plus Persona 5 Royal, and the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe rounding up the top 5. Other first-party games in the top 10 were The Last of Us Part 1, Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. So pretty much all Sony releases from last year made the cut. Into the bad, and this one is compiled as a full list. The worst game is Postal 4 No Regrets on PC, Crossfire X on Xbox Series, and Babylon's Fall for PS5. LEGO Brawl, Zorro the Chronicles, and Kamisawa Way of the Thief PlayStation versions also were listed in the top 10. Do you agree with their final list? Share with us in the comments. Microsoft Activision result delay in the UK plus US update. Back on more Microsoft Activision news, although there's not much. Last week the UK CMA, which is still undergoing its phase 2 review, delayed the decision by 2 months. They were originally to provide a verdict by March 1st and now will do so before or on April 26th. With this extended period, they will also have a new round of hearings from any parties involved, including Microsoft, Activision, Sony, and others. We still don't know what the final ruling will be, but their last update indicated the result of the public hearing had 75% of the received messages in favor for the merger. Meanwhile, in the US, Microsoft updated the response they sent back in December in reply to the FTC's decision, in which they attacked the US regulator by saying their existence was unconstitutional. In a response to Axios, they admitted their mistake and backtracked the original message in their filing. The FTC has an important mission to protect competition and consumers, and we quickly updated our response to omit language suggesting otherwise based on the Constitution. We initially put all potential arguments on the table internally and should have dropped these defenses before we filed. Analysts believe the FTC faces an uphill battle to block the merger, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. What do you think about these developments? Post your opinion down below. A round of quickfire game news. After 3 days and almost 200 attempts, Swedish Twitch streamer Miss Mika has managed to beat Elden Ring not once, but twice, at the same time, one with a PS5 controller and the other with a dance pad. Congrats on the huge achievement, and you can check the video in the description below. Square Enix and Future Labs have announced the launch of cult classic Power Wash Simulator on both PS4 and PS5 this January 30. It's a game that has become very popular for its zen gameplay after it was released on Xbox Game Pass and PC last year. CD Projekt Red has settled the lawsuit with investors after the failed Cyberpunk 2077 launch for hiding the true state of the game. The Polish company will pay $1.85 million in damages in what seems like pennies for CD Projekt. Despite that, the company has managed to fix the game, at least the new-gen versions, and is scheduled to launch the only major DLC for the game this year. Speaking of CD Projekt Red, they have now confirmed a physical release of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition for PS4 and PS5 later this month. It will include the upgraded game with all the free and paid DLCs released during the last 7 years, but it won't have the additional goodies from when the game first launched. And those are the PlayStation stories for today. What are your thoughts on them? Share them in the comments below. Let me know your feedback by liking or disliking this video, check out other videos you may enjoy while you're here, and consider subscribing for more on PlayStation. Thank you so much for watching, my name is Joseph, this is Sci-Fi Games, and let's get hyped!